books and different kind of publications. And let us see the regulation that she have presented during her lifetime in order to be sure that the writings, that the revelations that God have given are in the right custody and considered in the proper context. And we will consider also some examples of situations during her lifetime that people even manipulate and try to change the meaning of the original testimonies given to her. So let us see this now in perspective about the use of it. In letter 127 from 1910, Sister White writes about the use of the writings. I have kept in all my journeys that shall come before the people if essential. Even if I did not write another line, I want that which is deemed worthy to appear, for the Lord has given me much light that I want the people to have. For there is instruction that the Lord has given me for his people. It is light that they should have. Line upon line, precept upon precept, here a little and there a little. This is now to come before the people, because it has been given to correct specious errors and to specify what is truth. The Lord has revealed many things pointing out the truth, thus saying, this is the way, walk ye in it. So she emphasized the importance to publish what she received as a message, because this is the purpose. The reason why she received revelations is only to transmit to the people. Otherwise, why revelation take place? It's only that the word of the Lord came to the people. And this is the way how God communicated. Sister White pronounced herself in different occasions in relation with the file and also the use of the manuscripts. To keep the value of it, to be careful and to custody the written lines are very, very important. And she emphasized this in different occasions. Now, we have considered how the letters were archived and which kind of system was used to categorize everyone. So we have analyzed that first they categorize according to what type of manuscript, so that is letter, then according to year, and then they numbering from one until the last that was write down during this year. And related with this, she wrote and say, I have read this binder from beginning to end, and it has much material that shall be repeated to the people. So that was the binder for, according what we see here, the first letter in 1907, but was copied in January 1908 because was written in December 1907, and was filed in 1908 because the copy, the typing of the letter was done in 1908. So she said everything that is there need to be reproduced. And that was a letter. And she write in ink upon this letter, in the typed copy, that this needed to be published. In other sections we find, for example, consider this article. And she write in ink beside or in one part of the page where originally was write down, typed. Then we find another example, yeah, for another letter. and say, I have read this and I agree for it to be published in a book of experiences. And in the heading of a letter written on June 17 that has the clue H 188, 1908 are the words, do not publish. So we have letters that Sister White say, publish. Other articles, she say, consider this article. Was not published until this time, but she wrote in ink, please consider. This means she recommended that this will be published in the future. And we have also letters that she write down, do not publish. So she already made like a pre-selection during every book that contained all these letters for 1 year, or all the manuscripts for this year. So she went through, and you can see it written in ink, publish, don't publish, consider, whatever. We have different examples here. For another example. In the file of manuscripts from 1913, she has a declaration for a manuscript 12 from 1913, and she says, this is correctly presented, and I repeat it for the benefit of others. May the Lord watch us and guide us at every step in our difficulties. So she recommended that this manuscript, specifically, manuscript 12 from 1913, will be published. For another letter, we have already considered one that she said, do not publish. Here another one, in 1905, and written by hand, do not publish. So she went also through the book 1905 for letters, like in 1913 for manuscripts. And she write, publish, consider, or no publish. We have also others kind of notations or observances that she included. And we find here the declaration that a certain letter should be published again when and where it will be useful to the cause of truth for this time. Gather a group of documents. So there are some letters and manuscripts that at the moment was not seen the use to publish. But she recommended that when it's needed or this specific case will come up, they can use it. In comparison with others that she say don't publish at all. Okay? We will consider one case, at least two cases, that during her lifetime they changed the original meaning of the testimony as she have given to the people. And she take position with this. Let us consider one. This is a letter that she wrote in 1906 and say, those who are not walking in the light of the message may gather up statements from my writings that happen to please them, and that agree with their human judgment. And by separating these statements from their connection and placing them beside human reasonings, make it appear that my writings uphold that which they condemn. And this is very important. And she presented clearly her opposition to this way of doing things. She said, are people that are taking statements only to confirm their own opinion about things. And they say, Sister White says. And she said, this is a wrong approach. That was not the reason why this testimony or this specific statement was given. Let us consider further on. Many from among our own people are writing to me, asking, with earnest determination, the privilege of using my writings to give force to certain subjects which they wish to present to the people in such a way as to leave a deep impression upon them. It is true that there is a reason why some of these matters should be presented, but I will not venture to give my approval in using the testimonies in this way. or to sanction the placing of matter which is good in itself in the way which they purpose. The persons who make these propositions, for all I know, may be able to conduct the enterprise of which they write in a wise manner, but nevertheless, I dare not give the less license for using my writings in the manner which they propose. In taking account of such an enterprise, there are many things that must come into consideration. For in using the testimonies to bluster up some subject which may impress the mind of the author, the extracts may give a different impression than that which they will where they read in the original connection. So the writing and sending out of the testimonies to the church, pages 25 and 26. So we see here exactly the problematic that we are confronting now with the compiled words. And she have announced already. People write to me, ask for permission to publish some of the testimonies. And she say, I disagree with this, and I will not give the permission to them to publish. Why? Because they will take part of the testimonies only to confirm their own opinion without considering the origin and the purpose of the original testimony given to me. So the original purpose will be completely corrupted, erroneous. And this is unfortunately what happened today in a present days. Now, she wrote a lot of personal testimonies, a lot of letters, a lot of manuscripts related with individuals that the Lord showed her to admonish or to encourage or to appeal to them if they have done or are in ways that are wrong. So Sister White received a lot of these kind of messages. And she also explained the way how these personal testimonies need to be used. Let us consider one example. Testimonies to Ministers and Gospel Workers, page 33. As a sample of the way in which Brother S. has compiled this pamphlet, I will give the following incident. I wrote a private letter to one of our ministers, and in kindness, thinking that it might be a help to Brother S. This brother sent a copy of it to him, but instead of regarding it as a matter of his personal help, he prints portions of it in the pamphlet as an unpublished testimony to sustain the position he had taken. Is this honorable? There was nothing in the testimony to sustain the position of Brother S. Holtz, but he misapplied it, as many do the scriptures, to the injury of his own soul and the souls of others. God will judge those who take unwarrantable liberties and make use of dishonorable means in order to give character and influence to what they regard as truth. In the use of private letters sent to another, Brother S. has abused the kindly efforts of one who desired to help him. So what we see here, that was a personal testimony, a personal letter to a specific person. And the person that received it shared with somebody else. And this somebody else write down a pamphlet and use part of this personal letter as a testimony from Sister White. And it's true, that was a testimony of Sister White written in a letter. So the letter was correct. What she mentioned here is that the use of something that was personal to become a general information was a dishonor. First. Second, that was done without the authorization of the author. That was Sister White. Third, that was used only parts of this letter. So what this means? That the general subject in the letter was completely omitted. So the idea and the reason why this letter was sent changed completely. Because it's the same that I write a letter to Jorge, for example, when he will be in Mexico. And I write to him, "Dear brother Jorge, I hope you enjoy to be in Mexico. I hope you remember everything that you have studied in the missionary school. And I hope that is for good use in your responsibility as youth leader in the union." Okay? "But I am concerned about this and this and this. And I hope that everything will be okay and the Lord will help you in everything." So, with greetings, so I finished the letter. Yeah? And I sent this letter to him. Okay? So, now, if people read this letter and use part of this letter against him, because, for example, I say to him, "I am concerned about this or this." And they say, "You know, these things are not in order." Is that true? No, it's not true. It's not true. Because the letter has a completely different purpose. Not that the person has done something wrong. But if you take out of the context how the things are, you have a completely different projection of this. Okay? And this is what happened with this letter of Sister White. And the person used this to destroy another group and to confirm a position that was also wrong, using Sister White. So they use as a personal weapon to confirm their own ideas and to destroy the other one. And this is what Sister White said. Is this honorable? Is the question. No, it's not. Now, Testimonies for the Church, Volume 5, page 658. Since the warning and instruction given in testimony for individual cases apply it with equal force to many others who had not been especially pointed out in this manner, it seems to be my duty to publish the personal testimonies for the benefit of the church. In Testimony 15, speaking of the necessity for doing this, I said, "I know of no better way to present my views of general dangers and errors and the duty of all who love God and keep His commandments than by giving these testimonies. Perhaps there is no more direct and forcible way of presenting what the Lord has shown me." So we have here another perspective. About some personal letters, she say not published. Now, here we find another testimony that she say that other individual cases that I have used and published. Why? The reason is here. Since the warning and instructions given in testimonies for individual case apply with equal force to many others who had not been especially pointed out in this matter. So maybe the letter was for a person, but the case was not a singular and independent case. This can happen to other people. Then she decided that this personal letter can be published because it's not only a specific case that cannot be repeated. If this case can and was repeated in other individual cases, she said this can be published. So we see here already a difference, two different positions for the same case. If it's one individual case that is dealing only with one individual, that the case will be not repeated, not published. She uses individual testimonies. Use it because they were repeated in different cases. And she said, why to need to be published? Because was not the only person. Other people that were not in the name in the letter also fall until this case or in this situation. And for this reason, that was also published. Another example. Testimonies for the Church, Volume 5, page 67. You might say that this communication was only a letter. Yes, it was a letter, but prompted by the Spirit of God to bring before your minds things that had been shown me. In these letters which I write, in the testimonies I bear, I am presenting to you that which the Lord has presented to me. I do not write one article in the paper expressing merely my own ideas. They are what God has opened before me in vision, the precious rays of light shining from the throne. Now came the other extreme, that people say, okay, that was a letter, so don't have the same value or the same importance. And she said, this is also wrong, because it's true, it's a letter, but what is in this letter is given to me by God, and you cannot disregard it. So until now, we have considered three different statements related with letters. If it was a personal letter that was only and exclusively from this specific case, don't publish. Second option, if was letter directed to a person but appointed also other cases, needed to be published. Because was not only for this only individual person. Many other people were in the same situation, but maybe the name was not there and was addressed only to a specific person. Needed to be published. And she said, and this is revealed to me by God. So we need to understand this. It's very, very important. When we deal with letters, we need to consider what? If it was for a specific case, or is something that is common. So dealing with letter is extremely difficult, and we need to be very, very careful. We need to know the content, but not only the content of the letter, this specific one that we find year 906, letter 3. We need to follow up the completely correspondence line. Because, okay, she wrote a letter. Now, we need to find out, that was the first letter that this person wrote to this, Sister White wrote to this person, or are precedence letters. The person that received the letter answered to Sister White, and she sent it again another letter, so we need to have the completely line of correspondence. Okay, this is very important. In order to have the completely picture of the case that we are dealing with. To be able to take a decision with the completely information and say, okay, this is the matter, this is the case, so we understand. Okay? This is very, very important, because following up the case with Jorge, then he answered to me this letter and said, Sister, I thank you for your letter, and I praise the Lord. Everything was settled with the union, everything was perfect, so I added, see the attached file with the resolutions of the union, so no more concerns. So what happened? If I take this letter, that somebody take the letter that I have sent to him saying, oh, were difficulties between the union and Brother Jorge. Finish there. But they don't read down the letter that he answered to me with the resolution of the union that was no concern, was no any problem. Okay? And then they need to read out also the letter that I answered to him that say, thank you so much for your letter, may the Lord bless you, and I will continue praying for you. It's the completely, 3 letters give you the completely case. When you remain with the first letter, you have the problem. Nothing else. With the second letter, when he answered to me, you know that is no problem. That what was considered the letter as such as a problem is not a problem. And then you see that remain a good relationship between Jorge and me. So then you have the completely picture from when you take the 3 letters. So this is a practical example to see how this happened. For example, if you go in the archives of the General Conference from 1992, you will see that I am in the list of the fellowship members from the Church of Barcelona in Spain. Because I was this fellowship from the church one time during the reunification process, that happened between 1990 and 1993, because I opposed strongly against the unification, and I was this fellowship from the church. So you see, how is Sister Raquel there? She's this fellowship. How she can be member of the General Conference? She's this fellowship, and teach to us. What is this for a thing? Now, you need to follow all the letters, okay? I was not only this fellowship, 10 members were this fellowship with me. Also 9, we were 10 altogether. A completely church was dissolved because of this, okay? Now, this group that was this fellowship wrote to the field, because Spain belonged also to a union, wrote to the union, after the field, then to the committee of the General Conference. Then you will see that members of the committee of the General Conference came to Spain to solve the problem. No way to follow to solve the problem. Why? The president of the field was member of the General Conference. The president of the union was member of the General Conference. And the president of the union was member of the peace committee. So how you can solve this? For sure was not possible. Now, then you find another letter from the president of the General Conference, Brother Sigmund Gutnick, that write to me a letter to be as a translator in the General Conference 1993, and I was this fellowship. How I can translate in the General Conference when I am not member of the church? And you will see the answer to him. And I say, brother, how I can be translator or have any responsibility, no matter law or high or whatever, if I am this fellowship? Then he say, we consider this group of 10 members not this fellowship of the church, because that was not done according to the order, and so on, and so on, and so on. And then you will look, the protocol of the General Conference 1993, I was official translator, not member officially. Erased from the books, from the field and from the union. Then I was proposed to have an office in the General Conference. And I say I cannot, because I am this fellowship. Okay? So finally the point was presented in the General Conference and was decided that this fellowship need to be annullated because was against the principles of our church and contrary to all the rights of a member. So not only for me, for all the other 9. And so what happened? There's here more than 55 letters from this until 1993. So if you take one, you have one aspect. If you take another one, you have another aspect. So what you need to read to have the completely history, if I am not here explaining to you, you need to read all the letters, okay? In order to have the completely, because they say, oh, the General Conference is completely wrong. They have a person that is this fellowship and translated in the General Conference. What is this for a thing? When you read the protocol from 51, it's the same. When the protocol 1951 is the only document that you need to prove that this separation was against the principles, that don't have any right of existence, only with the protocol, day by day, you see it. And you have beside all the letters, all the correspondence. And what the people have? They don't have the protocol, they don't have the letters, so they have one version that they explain to them, and this is yeah and amen, and finished. Don't have the knowledge, don't have the context, don't have everything that belongs to this. And the same is with the testimonies. I am endeavoring by the help of God to write letters that will be a help not merely to those to whom they are addressed, but to many others who need them. So again, we have this confirmation here. So if a letter have a general common interest or need to be published. Now, we have another kind of publications. We have considered books, manuscript, letters, then we have diaries. Sister White, have the general custom to have a diary. And then she wrote about this. In a manuscript 59, year 1912, the numerous diaries and books manuscripts that have been kept and containing the instructions given by the Lord will easy my work in the preparation of new books. Now, here is a key expression, say, that contain the instruction given by the Lord. In a diary, you write many things, okay? Your impressions, your feelings, what happened to you this day, what somebody tell you, what you answer to them. If you was hurt, you write, I feel bad because this happened to me, and whatever. So you find this in Sister White. Sister White, for example, write, tomorrow I need to make laundry, but we don't have potatoes, but I plan to make this menu, so I will go to buy potatoes, but I don't have enough money. We will see what I can do. I don't know if I have enough soap. All this is in the diary. Yeah. This is not an instruction given by the Lord. That is her daily life as a human being. Now, what she says is, the numerous diaries and book manuscripts that have been kept and contain the instruction given by the Lord. Between many pages in the diary, you find that the Lord say, that she say, the Lord have shown me, and maybe you have only 3-4 sentences. Finish. So this is a section of the diary that confirm this declaration, contain the instruction given by the Lord. So this means that a pre-selection of information need to be done in these cases. Now, I recommended to you to read Testimonies Treasures, Volume 1, Chapter 30, Counterfeit Gifts of the Spirit. Related with this subject. And now you have homework for this lecture. And the homework is the following. You need to choose one article of the Review and Herald or Sign of the Times or Youth Instructor. Which article do you like the most in the different magazines that she wrote? You use one. And then select, also you need to write the font, also where is the article, the title of the article, and then try to find the source of information in this article. She mentioned other authors or mentioned other people or only the Lord showed me, or Bible texts, because this is another source of information. So use one article from where you want, Review and Herald, Youth Instructor, Signs of the Times, no matter. Choose one article and select all the sources of information that she used in this article. If it's direct revelation of God, of is Bible quotations, or is a reference to other publishing work that she had in the past. whatever you have, you need to write down.
So the different ways are if it's directly from the Lord, and what were the other ways? If it's from the scriptures?
Yeah, the way that you find it in the article, because she can say, the Lord showed me, okay, direct revelation. Then you find a lot of Bible texts in the article that she mentioned, right? So these are biblical references. Then maybe she mentioned, if I have wrote in the article, I don't know, whatever. So you mention also reference to other articles that she wrote, or other things, or one letter. What is there, you write the article. You read the article, and then you see what is there. Maybe you don't find, you find only biblical references and direct revelation. Okay? No, es artículo. Usted tiene que escoger de Review and Herald, de cualquier revista que usted quiera, un artículo de la hermana White. Entonces usted pone la fuente, de qué revista, el título del artículo, la fecha, el año, y después pone las fuentes que ha usado la autora. Por ejemplo, si ella dice, el Señor me ha revelado, entonces es una revelación directa. Ella usa versículos bíblicos, entonces usted pone las referencias bíblicas. Ella menciona otras cartas, otros artículos, otros libros, eso también lo pone. ¿Ok? ¿Es clear?
Yes, I believe so. When is this also going to be due before 3 o'clock tomorrow?
Yes.
Okay, so both of them.
Yes.
Okay.
Questions?
Do you want us to just list them? List them or write a paragraph? Or how would you like to?
No, you can write a couple of sentences as an example, yeah? Biblical references, Matthew 24, 3 or 4 examples.
Oh, I see. So if there's biblical references found within the article, then we would...
Not all of them,
Yeah, maybe we
but
would
some.
put 2 or 3 examples from the article.
Right, yes.
Okay.
So that is a proof that really is there. Okay? And write the complete information. This article is found in this magazine. The article is numbered so-and-so from this date, from this year. About this subject, the title of the article.
Y usó estas referencias.
Exacto. Y da ejemplo de cada referencia. 1 o 2. Okay? So, any other question about the subject that we have considered until now? You have class until 12 or 12:30? Only until 12?
Often they go over, but
No, but I asked the official schedule. It's until 12. Okay.
Officially is 12, yes. But
Okay.
many times it's 12:30.
Okay. So we have still 15 minutes. Maybe I can begin with the next one. If you don't have questions.
You said later on you're going to explain like